So, gratitude. I was giving you a bit of background. I'm Steve Roger Phillips, or Steve. I've been called many other things, but I won't go into that. And I'm an ex-semi-professional rugby player, international rugby player, former monk. He lived as a celibate monk for a couple of years as well in a temple in between Swansea and Cardiff. And I've been on this journey for quite a while. More importantly, I suppose, I'm a father and a husband, and also we have another business which is called the School of Naturopathic Nutrition, where we do courses, diploma courses and stuff in nutrition. There's some of our students in the audience here. So there's a few different things I do, and it's just been an amalgamation really of things that I've picked up along the way on my journey. And one of the things that I'm going to be highlighting, one of the things that I'm highlighting upstairs today is my next Warriors of Peace network. I'm founder of the Warriors of Peace network in Cardiff. It's an alternative network where people come on a monthly basis. We have guest speakers. Emma's a member as well. we have guest speakers. What do you think of the network, Em?
Oh, it's fantastic. I've got a cape as well, but I'm not wearing it.
Emma's got a cape as well, but she's not wearing it today.
It's a rainbow one.
Oh, I forgot to get that for you, yeah. Yeah, so it's an alternative. I've been to loads of business. Anyone been to any business networks before? Anybody like self-employed and been to? Yeah, I love them. I really do love them because I love business myself. But what I found in business networks is when I go to them, I'm almost got to put a filter over the things that I say because I'm into all this stuff upstairs. You know, I'm into all the woo-woo stuff and whatever. But when you go to a business meeting, it's quite like, you know, suited and booted, isn't it? And you know, it can be quite. I don't know, you've got to hide some of your true personality. So that's why I started the Warriors of Peace network, because I felt there's a niche in the market for people of like mind to meet on a monthly basis, still talk about business stuff, but also you can speak about who you are really from your heart as well. And it's all about helping people. It's heart-centered, so it's a little bit of a business network with a difference, or a conscious business network if you like. So the next meeting on that, if anybody interested in becoming an author, just out of interest, awesome. So in the next one I'm doing, you can register for that today if you want. It's free for the first one, and then if you want to sign up you're more than welcome, or you can just take the content and run with it. That's happy days. In the next one I'm speaking on how to write a book in 30 days or less, even if you can't write. So if you want to come along to that, it's on the 20th of June. And yeah, because it took me about 7 years to write this book. It was out there 7 years ago, but then I had to take it off the shelves because I became a monk, and then I became a father, and there was loads of different things philosophically that I had to change within the book as well. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, let me know later. And I'll just pass, if anybody wants a free book on self-mastery, it's an e-book on self-mastery. No obligation, but if you don't, just pass it on to the next person. Pop your details down in there. I'll send you an e-book and also a video course. This is what we do in the Warriors of Peace network. I know you've come in gratitude. I will be getting to gratitude now, right? But it's at the end of the day, we do have to talk about ourselves, and sometimes in this type of network, this type of business, people have got a shy about talking about themselves, you know. I'm not, as you can tell, but it's but that hasn't come overnight. You know, when I did my first talk, it was my mate asked me to be his best man, and I was shivering, literally shaking like a leaf, and I had to have quite a few vodkas and quite a few pints before I delivered the talk. I don't drink a drop now, but back then I did. But over the years, yeah, I've learned that, and I actually love speaking now. So gratitude. Where to start? So, is anybody familiar with Dr. Emoto? Yeah. Hands? Anybody familiar? Awesome. So Dr. Emoto, for those who aren't familiar with Dr. Emoto, he's a Japanese doctor, and he tested frozen particles of water, and these frozen particles of water, he put different signs on them: love, hate, gratitude, thank you, war, loads of different things. And we got some pictures up here if anyone's interested. We can just pass this one around just to give you an idea. And then he, under a microscope, he took the particles and looked at what the particles were doing, and you can see what the different words did to the particles there. So we're over 80% water, right? So everybody agree? You know, it's roughly, isn't it, 70 to 80% water, yeah? 70, yeah. 60 to 70, thank you, sir. So we're 60 to 70% water, right? So if these words make a difference to those frozen particles, then they're going to make a difference to us. And one of the things that makes a massive difference is gratitude. When we're grateful, it actually changes our structure, it changes who we are as a person. This talk came at a really good time for me, and one thing I want to be grateful for today is Emma, because she said, because I speak at most of these events, and she said, we needed something a little bit different. I said, what do you need then? And she said, we need something on gratitude. I said, okay, great, then I'll do a gratitude talk. So I'm grateful that she came up with a gratitude talk, because does anybody else recognise that the universe, God, whatever it is to you, that divine nature, have you noticed that it talks to you sometimes? Anybody? We're in the right place to speak about things, I guess, right? It's okay. Yeah, cool. So it's and that's what I've noticed on my journey, is that when we have intent, when we have gratitude, or the more we're connected to that higher being, then things tend to happen like that to bring us back on course. And this might be why you're here. You know, everything happens for a reason, and I believe that happened to me because I haven't been grateful enough in my life. So God says, do a talk on gratitude so that you can start relearn it yourself as well, because we can learn stuff, right? But you know, how many people remember what they did in maths when they were in school now? You know? Well done, awesome. So you're the only person to put your hand up. So, do you know what I mean? It's a lifetime thing, and in order to create a habit, we need to do it for over 28 days, or 21 days. Different research suggests different things. So, the basics of what I'm saying is we need to be doing this stuff on a regular basis, and it doesn't matter how old we are, we can always learn more, right? We can always be humble enough to realise that there's more to be learnt, and that's something that's pivotal within what our teachings within the School of Naturopathic Nutrition. I sit there, she's my wife who teaches in the School of Naturopathic Nutrition. I sit there in the classes, I always learn something new in every class, because we learn exactly the right thing we need at that time. But we've got a lot of different filters going on, and dependent upon those filters, it depends what we actually see and hear. We're all here in this talk, every single person will take away from it something different. And some people that you speak to that are in the talk with you won't remember the thing that you remembered, but they'll remember something else that was more relevant for them at that time. Does everybody follow that? The more we can remove those filters, of course, the more we can be present in every moment and try and remember maybe all of it. But there's only a certain amount of capacity that we all have as human beings. We're human, right? The air is human. We all make mistakes, right? Me more than most. And but what comes from those mistakes is usually the biggest lessons, isn't it? So it's being grateful as well, not only for the good things that happen, right? But if we can be grateful for the bad things that happen, then we can really start to propel our learning. Because ultimately, let's do a little test. So who believes that you learn more from negative experiences than good experiences? Yeah, it's pretty much about 90% of the room, right? So if we're only being grateful for all the good things, then we're missing out on 90% of learning. You know what I mean? We're missing out on loads of learning, and actually those people are angels in disguise. Would you agree? Like when those people that rub us up the wrong way, those ones that jar us, these are the people that actually are making change within us. They're pushing something within us that provokes change. So those are the things that if we can, I'm saying this, right, but I'm teaching myself as I'm speaking as well, because in the heat of the moment it can be really, I got two little daughters, I got a 2 and a 3-year-old, right? In the heat of the moment it's really, it can be challenging, can it, to say that. So this is what it's about though, because if we do it on a daily basis, in the heat of the moment, then it gets a lot easier, right? So if we can it's called spiritual practice for a reason. We practice on day in, day out. Like I said, I was a monk for 2 years, and we literally were up at 3:30 in the morning, and we didn't go to bed until about 10 in the night. So it was a full-on day. But the first thing we would do would meditate. And part of the meditate, so it was a Krishna chant, and it was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And we do that 108 times 16. I don't know what that figure is, but it's a lot, right? But part of the reason why we're doing that is because those words, Hare means the internal or the feminine energy. There's a lot of people within religion, they say God and as if God is a male in the sky, but the Hare is the feminine energy of God, and Krishna is the male energy of God, or the all attractive, and or the personality more so, and then Rama is a reservoir of pleasure. So we're tapping in every morning, every night. I still do it, not the intensity that I used to do it, and maybe because I'm in family life, I'm trying to like pick up after the kids and stuff in between and everything, but it's still a real important part of my life, because I'm deeply grateful to our Creator for everything that I have in my life. And that doesn't necessarily mean material things at all, really. The material things may come, but they're not really the things that I'm deeply grateful for. The things I'm deeply grateful for is the realizations that I've had around who we are, why we're here, and what the hell is the purpose of this thing. I lost my dad when I was 13, and that totally shook up my world. Has anybody lost somebody in here? Quite close to them? Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, right? So it totally shook my world up at 13, and I asked the questions, why are we here? What's the point in life? And where do we go when we die? And now those are the things that were just running around in my head at that time. And from that point, there was a quest up until I'm 36 now, so it was like 23-year quest to find that out. And it led me to the temple, really, where I started learning those valid things, those where we were doing the Hare Krishna chant and stuff. And part of that thing, like I was saying, the reason I'm on to that is it's important for us to show gratitude. We show, even if we don't believe in God, for example, or then show gratitude to our parents, show gratitude to our friends, right? Is something I really try to home in on my kids is please and thank you. It's just very, very simple stuff, but simple stuff can be the most profound, can't it? Anybody agree? It's like, because I'm a simple person, like I'm a Valley boy, I'm an ex-rugby player, I'm one of the boys, and so I like to keep things simple, and I think we can overcomplicate things in life, and gratitude is one of those things can really transform us. Anybody familiar with Tony Robbins? So we just came back from a seminar in Tony Robbins in London. We were fortunate enough to go there, and one of the things that he stresses is that, so I'll be looking for a volunteer soon, one of the things that he stresses is that you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. Try it. You try and be angry and grateful at the same time. You just can't do it. Right? So the more we can be grateful and focus on these positive emotions, the more the other emotions just naturally fall by the wayside. So we don't have to necessarily give a lot of emphasis on, on the negative. In fact, it's good if we can focus more on the positive, but the negative's there, right? I've done a lot of personal development in my time, but some of it almost tells you to negate all negativity. Alright, negativity, but sometimes we go through some tough times, don't we? And let's not, I go through tough times on a daily basis with a busy life and family and stuff. But I'm grateful for the beautiful life that I've got, and every challenge, in fact, like I was saying, the biggest challenges I'm more grateful for, because it's the biggest challenges is what I get my lessons from, right? So, who would like to become a volunteer? Awesome. Like to come up? Give a big hand, please. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. What's your name?
Anita.
Anita.
Yeah.
Anita. Welcome, Anita. So, I just want to give a little example of that. Anybody familiar with kinesiology or muscle testing?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, yeah, well, you know all about it then. But anyway, we'll use it as an example just to show, right? Are you happy with that?
Yep, that's fine.
So, do you want to put your arm out? Just, there we are. That's fine, yeah. I usually do like this if you don't mind, straight in front of you, and put your arm down like that. So we're just going to do a little test with Anita. With Anita, just to prove, right, the body's integrity. So this proves the motor stuff that's going around there now. This just proves that, right? Because our body knows the difference between. I'll be with you now. Sorry. Our body knows the difference between truth and falsehood, and. So we'll just do a couple of tests now, so it'll speak for itself. So, just to test this, so say, my name is Anita.
My name is Anita.
And resist. She's really strong. I'm pressing down, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Frank.
My name is Frank.
And resist. Wow. And you were trying as much as the first time?
Yeah, I've had it, those kind of. I walked through fire once, and they did this before we walked through the fire.
Awesome. So so you knew what was coming?
Well, I didn't until you said you were going to do muscle tests, and I knew when you said muscle tests, and I did, because the reason I wanted to do the fire walking was because I wanted to know how they were going to get me to walk across the fire.
Yeah. Well, it is quite important.
I know, well, sort of hypnotising me. What are they going to do?
yeah, too right. So I did that at the Tony Robbins event as well. I walked through fire as well at the Tony Robbins event. So it's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it just shows the power of the mind, right? Our mind can overcome anything. So I just want to, so if we'll just do a couple of words, like the words that are on the sheet now. So if you put your arm out again, please, Anita. Thank you. So, so if we just say thank you.
Thank you.
And resist. She's really strong there, and I'm quite a strong bloke. Like, I'm trying my best to push her on. I can't budge her, so it really makes her strong. So say resentment.
Resentment.
Resist. She's totally limp and weak, right? So let's say gratitude, for example. Say gratitude.
Gratitude.
Resist. And then say hate.
Hate.
Hate. Resist. That's totally weak. So thanks, Anita. Big round of applause for Anita. Anybody doesn't believe that believes that she was proper, and if they don't, you're more than welcome to come up as well. Everyone okay with that? Yeah, cool. So it's an interesting experiment. You can do it with each other as well. It's good to do it with the practitioner initially, but it's quite basic. It's just showing how strong your body is when you're in truth. When you're in falsehood, your body is weak. So when we're lying, we're carrying that around. We're literally carrying that around with us, and it's making us weak. So it could be making us weak physically, it could be making us weak mentally and spiritually. Our health can really take a turn for the worse if we're not in a state of truth. And part of being in a state of truth is being grateful, right? So, anyone find that interesting? Yeah, the ones around it. Yeah, it's phenomenal, and and this works for anybody. You know, it's not. Doesn't work for just one person. I've done this to loads of different people, and it works. There's a little bit of a difference when you start doing it to a lot of different people. There is a little bit of a difference, especially some guys. They try and kind of, hey, you're not going to push my arm down, like even if I am negative or whatever, you know. But it's, but you can definitely feel it, and they can feel it different. Even those people, you can see it in their eyes when you're doing it. They're like, oh my God, they can really see a difference in it. So it's. So it's just a simple little technique just to explain how gratitude is affecting us on a daily basis. Does anybody do a gratitude in the morning and the evening, or daily then? Does anybody have a gratitude list, for example? Yeah? Awesome. So for the ones that haven't, that could be something that's really good to implement. So it's something to implement, just to give it a try. Just do a scientific experiment for 28 days or 21 days. Morning and evening, just 3 things, that's all. If we can't give ourselves like a couple of seconds every morning and every night for 3 things that we're grateful for, and what that does is that starts to open up a whole array of other things. Because when we start, it's just where we put our focus, where our attention goes, where our focus goes, things grow, right? So wherever our attention goes, that's what things magnify. So if we're really focused on the negative things, then that's what's going to expand. Whereas if we're focused on the things we're grateful for, that's what's going to expand, and we're going to get more of it. So like I was saying earlier, yeah, we want to be grateful for the negative things, but maybe be careful of how grateful you are of them, but we do get a lot of lessons from them. So we can be grateful for the positive and for the negative, but the things you want more of in your life, be hyper grateful for, and express that not only to yourself, express that to other people as well, especially people that have done good things for you. Before this talk, I was just on the phone to my mum, because she's had our daughters yesterday and today, and I was just saying how grateful I was to her for taking care. Like, grandparents are worth their weight in gold, aren't they? Anybody agree? So it's yeah, so that was one of the things I was doing before, and it really deepens our relationships, doesn't it? Because the more we can be grateful to other people, they feel it. Even if we don't express it, they feel it on a deep level in their heart. If we're grateful towards them, then they can really inflict change, and it can really help us to deepen our relationships with people, because we want to be around people, don't we, that are happy, and we want to be around people that want good for us. So if we're grateful to other people, then we're telling them that we want them in our lives. We're making them feel validated, so we're making them feel good, and then they're going to want us in their lives more, so we can expand our networks, but we can also help so many other people. And in doing that, there's a law of karma, or if you don't believe in Eastern philosophy, you can just, it's scientifically, it's energy. So as you give, you receive, basically. So I can't remember the quote now, but it's every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That's the scientific explanation of karma. Everybody familiar with karma, by the way? Wow, that's awesome. I mean, we're in the right place for me, because it's the nature of the event and stuff. But it's even if you wanted to explain that scientifically now, you can explain that scientifically. You can say, because scientists say that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if we're being grateful to other people, it opens up other people to be grateful to us. So the more... Gandhi's quote is amazing, isn't it? Be the change you wish to see in the world, right? It's like, so the more we can change ourselves, the more we don't have to look at anybody else. Looking at other people, there's a section on projection in my book. I love projection, so other people can reflect back to us a lot of things about ourselves. However, we don't need to look far in order to make a change in the world or to ourselves. That's all we've got to do, is look within and start changing ourselves. And like Gandhi said, we can be the change we wish to see in the world. Whatever changes you want to see in other people, there's almost every time, if we're seeing negatives or faults in other people, it's the universe trying to tell us something, that there's something within us we need to look at. It might be difficult for us to do that. I find this the most difficult of all, is when there's a fault that I'm seeing in who am I to judge another person? Jesus said, didn't he, take the log out of your own eye before you judge a splinter in somebody else's. Is that right? Something like that, right? Because in gist, I may not have paraphrased that right, but what he's talking about is that we need to look at ourselves before we start judging other people. And it's easy for me to stand here and say this. I need to do this myself more, right? It's all well and good to speak it and know it. There's two things in Eastern philosophy, and it's called Gyan and Vigyan. Gyan means knowledge, so we can all gain. We're in the age of knowledge, aren't we? There's so much knowledge that's on our fingertips. All we got to do is pick up that device we got in our pocket. Google will tell us everything, won't it, at the moment? But that's just knowledge. So that's what I was saying at the start. Until we've actually put that knowledge into practice, it remains as just knowledge and it's useless. But Vigyan is realized knowledge. So when we've got realized knowledge, we actually embody those teachings, we walk the talk, if you like, then that knowledge becomes powerful, right? So that's all I ask is if you'd like to do a little experiment for the next 21 days, is just 3 things, morning and evening. Very simple. I'm a simple person, like I said. 3 things, morning and evening, what you're grateful for. I'm going to do it as well, because I do it sometimes sporadically with my wife, but that's another thing that I'm going to do as well for the next 21 days. And just observe how things change, how things expand, and just focus on the good. So, anybody got any questions or comments or corrections? Anything that they got burning up inside of them? Yeah.
I practice positivity and gratitude. That's something that hasn't been mentioned yet. Is when you're giving gratitude on a regular basis, how great it makes you feel.
Awesome. Thank you.
I give gratitude for 10 things. My 2 autistic children, my son being in university, his great grades. Give gratitude for my job, for my family. By the time I've travelled 8 minutes in the car to work, I'm walk in feeling wonderful. And
Yeah.
when you're a positive person like that, you attract positive people to you.
Yes,
And when
yes.
you're a negative person, like my teenage daughter, nobody wants to be near you. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And my son's like me, he's really positive and walks in a room and people approach him. You know, my daughter, you know, has got a face like this, like a bit.
We won't go there.
I can feel it, I can see it. People sort of like
Yeah.
move away from that. But if you practice gratitude, just giving thanks for, you know, try 5 things, 3 things like you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Happens to be instant time.
Yeah, yeah, by all means, if you want to do 10, go for
And if
it.
there's something stressful going on in my life, I give gratitude to the outcome. You know, for that stress clearing, and it makes you feel absolutely wonderful.
Awesome, thank you. Big hand. Thank you. It's, yeah, so brilliant way to finish, right? It makes you feel good as well. So, I mean, if it's for nothing else, it makes you feel good. So, by all means, and like I said at the start, any of those budding authors and stuff, if you want to learn how to become an author in less than 30 days, or at least write your first draft within 30 days or less, the event is coming up on the 20th of June. It's the Warriors of Peace Network in Cardiff. And we've also got an open day if anybody's interested in nutrition. We've got a naturopathic nutrition free talk in Cardiff on the 7th of July. So if you're interested in anything of any of those, either come up and see me on the desk upstairs by the door, or give us a call or whatever. So thank you. On that note, thank you everybody. Thank you so much. Namaste. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.